Okay, waiting for I'm a little early. I figured I'd warm up, loosen up. I'm waiting for the chat to populate. Hey, Paul, you're early. Ha ha. 180 degrees. My man, Paul. How are you, Paul? Tonight is going to be the last lesson on the drum set for this week because tomorrow we're doing the drum pad. Both lessons for tomorrow. I want to work with some jazz time today from the stick control formulas. You know, maybe the first four, perhaps. Is that okay with you, Paul? Any questions on anything that we've gone over? Yay! Okay, I can guarantee that you've been having problems with this one particular exercise. Not the one surface exercise where I take the one surface and then do a drum set application. Where we were doing the eighth note triplet with accents. Remember this? Two rights would be two lefts. You remember that. So you could do that. You probably have a good time with that on the drum pad or the snare drum. Here's the one you want to go to. The jazz time. Now play all the rights with the bass drum, all the lefts with the snare drum. Is that one that gives you the trouble, Paul? I got to move this in closer or get binoculars. I'm a lunatic. I've been having a really good day today. I hope everybody else has. And things are kind of looking up for this streaming thing with me because what I'm doing is I'm contacting all different kinds of publishers. Hi, Robert. And, I don't know, I didn't know there was so many publishers like Alfred, Warner Brothers, Amazon, Create Space, Hudson Music, Modern Drummer Music. So I'm trying to get them all. How you doing, Stacy? I'm trying to get them all together. Whereas before I get my web guide, because we're going to have 2 or 3 pages of drum books to buy. Now, there's a reason that I'm doing that. I could sound selfish and say, well, the reason why I'm doing that is to help you guys out to make it easier. But yes, that's one of the reasons. But the other reason, I get a little bit of a commission, so I make a few dollars. That's not wrong. It's business. Now, Stacy, we talked about drum books, and you sent me 4 pages. Were the ones that were highlighted or the ones that you have? Because I'm going to be housing all of Hudson Music's music, his books, maybe CDs and DVDs. The same thing with Warner Brothers, Berkeley Press, all those guys. So, when you know where to get them when you come to the site, they're here. Okay? Dennis, hello. So tell me, Stacy, are the 4 sheets that you printed out and sent me, the ones that are highlighted? Mante, how you doing, Mr. Mante? Oh, I'm going to, Paul. I work hard. Old dog. All right, my man. Okay, well, all right. They're good books. I looked at them. If you're gonna find out as time progresses, Stacy. My primary source, and actually everybody's primary source is the stick control, but they don't realize it. They created this, they invented that, bidinga bonga. No, everything that you're really going to need to know is the stick control book and how you can manipulate the brilliance of George Lawrence Stone. Like I give you all the formulas. They're there, okay? Now, there are some books, and even the Latin things are here too. The Bayonne, the Claves, the Samba, the Bossa Nova. It's here on page 5, 6, and 7. Everybody looks at me like I'm some kind of nut. Where do you see that? Well, you don't see it. You reference. You eliminate. But you're working on the line. Okay? Now, what I work from, Stacy, other than the workbook and the formulas, is the stick control book. All right? The syncopation book. That's the Ted Reed book. That is a must. Those two books I just mentioned are a must. Stick control book and Ted Reed's syncopation book. Then, I mean, this has to do with reading and hands and whatever. And other than that, you have Joe Morello's Master Studies, which is a great calisthenic book for your hands to develop speed and execution in using the levels. Then, if you want to get into rudiments, I mean, I could send you sheets on them. It's not a problem. They even have posters on them. But, you know, if you want to get like a Buddy Rich book, I also work with Gary Shafee, his pattern series, mostly at a time functions. So they're basically the books I use. Once in a while, I'll say, all right, man, you know, Jim Chapin, I'll mention his name. And like the books that I'm going to have for sale, I'm not going to be the Buddy Rich book. It'll be the syncopation book. Gary Shafee's books, you know, I'm getting in touch with everybody. Now, what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm overwhelmed with so much to do. I don't know what to do first. I'm in the process right now of a web guy, and I paid him in full. And we're going to start working on this perhaps next week sometime. But I'm holding off because I need to get the publishers' approvals to put their books, sell their books from my site in the CDs and whatever. Now, I got even better news when all of this is all over with and we start getting our guests like Mike Clark. Maybe I don't want to deal with Daniel Glass no more because he's left-handed. I got to do the whole thing again, you know? I don't want to do that no more. He's a good player. John Berger, all-around great musician. He's going to be here. Alan Herman would do some pad technique. Like I mentioned, Mark Walker, Carl Latham, and Mr. James, okay? Now, other than that, what I'm going to do with the stick control book formula, we do lessons on it. You ask me questions, and let's work on formula number 18 tonight, or let's work on formula number so-and-so. Well, that's what the book's about, and that's what the live lessons is about. But every formula that's in that book, I'm going to do between 20 and 35-minute video, where videos are going to be for sale on my site. In-depth breakdown of everything. It's an additional, you don't have to be a member to purchase these. You could be a visitor and you see it, you want to purchase it. Okay? And we're going to be, what's this? Stick control book, syncopation, Shafee. It's 2 F's, Paul. Morello Master Studies 1 and 2. Yeah, Chester's New Breed is a great book. You know, you have 99 books. I'd make your collection look bad because I have about 900 books in this studio. Someday I'll take a picture of the studio. I'll video the studio. But anyway, yeah, there definitely must have books. Okay? Now, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, the workbooks will be brought to me tomorrow, so whoever ordered the workbooks will be getting them in the mail. Okay? You think I'm kidding, Stacy? You'll see. I have books in this studio that drummers from all over the world who think they're authors and whatever send them to me to you know, do a breakdown on them, what I think about them. And sometimes, you know, they don't really want to hear what I think. Okay, but other than that, when I do Mike Clark's lesson, when he comes here and does a lesson, We're working on putting a couple musicians in the studio in here, this studio live. So it's just not all drums. It's going to be music, how his book is related to developing, going to the music. And I'm going to have a guest host. I'm going to have the publisher of Hudson Music here. And speaking of all those drum books, everybody writes drum books. Everybody wants to be an author. I'd say 50% of the authors can't play their whole book through. They just fill in the blanks because they want to get 100 pages. And I know that for a fact. But anyway, it's irrelevant. Randy. Well, it's not Patella stick control formulas. It's just stick control formulas. Yeah, and I'm in touch with George Lawrence Stone's granddaughter, who has all the rights to the stick control. And I'm going to be selling the stick control here. Okay, so like I was saying, well, no, I have a publication company as well, Patella. I nicknamed my son the Pope of Somerville. Bella is short for Isabella, so I put it Patella. Okay, that's the name of my publishing company. And every year I got to pay the state $50 to keep it. I don't need it, but you know, that's what they want. I'll give it to them. All right, so anyway, I want to work on some jazz tonight, if that's okay with everybody. I did kind of go over a little bit with the formulas number 1 and number 2. I like to hit 3 and 4. Okay, I don't have the book here. I'm not going to go over there and get it because I'm too lazy right now. So I'm going to kind of do it by memory. Okay, now we all remember the first guy was a one-surfaced hand exercise. R equals 3 rights, left equals 3 lefts. Line 3. I like you to observe something, and this takes hours and hours and years of practice. When I'm playing, I'm demonstrating to you the exercise. Notice my sticking heights, and tell me what you think. Line 3. 5. Okay, you saw that? All right, tell me what you think. You notice the heights on the right side and the left side are equal? Why is that? Common sense, laws of physics. If I hit here and hit here, I should get the same sound, correct? All right, we got that. That was the one surface exercise, and it's just a loosening up exercise. Then we did the drum set application. We did this afternoon. Now don't laugh at me, I call that the substitution complex. All the rights, instead of with the right hand, we're using the bass drum. Okay, line 1. And it's not very musical, it's mechanical, because that's what it is. It's a mechanical exercise. You're developing control between the bass drum and snare drum against a pattern. You can refer to that as an ostinato. It's continuous. But I call it a jazz pattern. I like to break it up a little bit. Line 1. Okay, so that was the second exercise. I think that's page 2, I believe. Then we went to line page. I think this is number 3, where we took the triplet, alternating triplet. R would be right, left, right. L would equal left, right, left. Again, another great hand exercise. I'll start with line 1. I'm going to go to line 2. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Line 3, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a good exercise for the level system. We all understand that. Oh, good Lord. Who practices? Oh, yeah, I do. Well, would it be hypocritical if I don't, Mr. Old Dog? You know, having drumsticks in my hands most of my life is part of it, you know, and playing 6 nights, 7 nights a week, plus teaching 6, 7 days a week, and then plus practicing. You know, it makes a big difference. If I'm not gigging like I'm not now, and I want to sit down and play, I have to loosen up a little bit. But when I was playing 6 nights, 7 nights a week, I was always loose because I was playing all the time. All right, so now you understand what we're doing with the bass drum, the substitution complex. Rights equal bass drum. So if you're going to have a problem, which most people do, this is not an easy exercise. You go through these couple exercises here, referencing off the stick control book against the jazz pattern and making a formula at an R and a formula at an L, you could open a Jim Chapin book and blow right through it. No problem. I mean, the Jim Chapin book he put his print on the map of the drum world, and he contributed all that. Beautiful man, great teacher, and the drum community needed that book because he visualizes the visuals. But in my opinion, like me, it's very mechanical, which is cool. I rather go and learn this from the stick control book and the syncopation. Granted, if I didn't understand how to do the triplet and I didn't see it, like it would have put a block in my head, man, as far as, you know, going any further with it and being creative, and gives me a strength to be creative. So it was a good book. You know, I might write a few lines from the Chapin book, and we can do it, okay, in the future. Remind me. So now, that's a good exercise 1, the substitution. I did this afternoon. That was line 1. Now, if you're going to have a problem, feel this. If you're going to have a problem with all 4 limbs at first, just do 2 limbs. And do it slow. That's the key. 1 and 2, 3, and that's line 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go to line 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Ah, you son of a bitch. I'm sorry. Line that didn't get a bone. Let me do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So on and so forth. Go through the exercise like that. Get the feel between the bass drum and the snare drum. Okay? Then you feel it's time for this. If you can't get the free stroke down in there, play quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play the quarter notes. The does will come in there, though you'll feel them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba-ba-doo bang, cha-ba-doo bong. 2, 3, 4. Now, each line has its own personality. It's just a little bitsy, teeny weeny, I guess you could say, of feel. The cymbal pattern is the same, but going from the bass drum to the snare drum sometimes is a little awkward. So the the reason why you're doing this is to make that awkwardness feel good. Eliminate it. If you're having trouble, for example, with line 5, I'd hang out there for quite some time. Now, to be honest with you, when I first picked up the sticks to try those things, man, I was practicing 100 hours a day because I was determined to do it. And that's what it's going to take. I mean, you know, this stuff is preparing you like if you're taking basic training to go out and play a gig. Oh, yeah, another thing, too, I'm searching for a couple bass players, a rock player and an upright, all right? And we're going to do some lessons with them. Show you the interaction between a drummer, it's a rhythm section, the drummer and the bass player. Jamming, improvising, so on and so forth. And it's hard to find. Bass players are like, they think they're gods because not too many people play the bass. Or people who couldn't make great in the guitar world went to the bass guitar. Paul. Well, it's a great exercise. Now, we're going to get into, and I didn't write this out yet, long notes and short notes from the syncopation book. First, we're going to play the syncopation book with the bass drum 1, 2, 3, 4, hi-hat 2 and 4 against in a jazz pattern, and we're going to play the line with the left hand. Now, we're going to do it 2 other ways, a lot of other ways, but because of this exercise that we're doing now, when I said long and short, if, for example, if I see the manga, ow, I got to fix that. It's terrible. Because I'm usually backing out this way and I got to turn around. I got to see the computer. Maybe I should put the computer over there. All right, anyway, if I was doing, for example, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Now, the way that would be written, all right, in the syncopation book would be a quarter note, 8th note rest, 8th note, 8th note rest, 8th note. So now the quarter note is going to be the long note, and the 8th note is going to be the short note. But we're changing the feel. Remember syncopated? To change the feel, triplets. So I would play the line like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Do we understand my interpretation of that? Yes, some, no, some. Does everybody understand, before I go any further, the short note and the long note? For example, now, if I take that exercise, that measure, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, a simple pattern like this, okay? And I say, all right, the long notes are going to be the bass drum. The short notes are going to be the snare drum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, sorry, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, do you see? Now, if I had a measure in the syncopation book with an 8th note rest, an 8th note rest, 8th note rest, so on and so forth, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? And I would swing that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That would be the short note. So the short note would be the snare. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And we're going to have all these exercises written out in addition to the workbook. Do you understand where I'm coming from, Mr. Paul? I know, Randy, do you understand that? Everybody else, do we understand it? Where's Jim today? Where did he go? Dennis, do you understand that? Old dog, you up there, man. I like that, old dog. It makes me sound young. Randy, you understand it? Stacy, you understand it? Jim, you here? Okay. Hoist, you hear? It's so hard, you know, the thing is, you know, I'm fortunate enough right now to do this all the time. You know, I could do this lesson, I could do a lesson on Skype with my underwear on. They would never know. It's very convenient. I can practice, I practice, you know, the way I want to practice. I get up early in the morning, I come in here, do all my computer work, maybe practice 2 or 3 hours or prepare for the lesson or take a nap and then do the lesson. It depends on my day. But I'm fortunate enough to have drumsticks in my hands most of the day. And I'm sure behind the drums. Okay. That's a good title for something, behind the drums. You know, you guys are going to really enjoy Mike Clark playing, you know, with music, as opposed to just demonstrating, you know, some different things on the drum set. What I like about this is this. What is he hearing? What is he feeling to the melody? And he'll explain the AABA to you. I mean, Mike's a great guy, man. He'll stay here for 10 hours if I didn't tell him it's over. He just loves this. He loves what he does. Stacy, do you understand this? Mr. Manta, you understand this? Swinging, all right, good. And I always say this, and I'll mean this, syncopation is the same as stick control book. The majority of it is. When I look at the book Four-Way Coordination by Elliot Fine and Marvin Dahlgren, I had come across that book maybe 40 years ago, or maybe, I don't know, 30 years ago, whatever. I looked at it and said, geez, I don't play the xylophones or the marimbas. I didn't understand what that all was. So I bought the book anyway, and I put it up on the shelf, and it collected dust. Not until we understood linear concepts and all this good stuff. And I look at the Four-Way Coordination book. It is, in my opinion, now I get a lot of negative feedback and bashing me for me saying this, and I don't give a shit. This is how it is. All right, the way I feel, I'm going to say it. This is America. All right, to me, the Four-Way Coordination is the stick control book on steroids. Now, that book has inspired me to be creative and create some other exercises from the stick control book. You remember the Four-Way Coordination thing, or the linear concepts? Well, that's where I got most of the ideas from. You understand? All right, who wants to play in 7/8? You won't get a gig, but hey, it sure will open up your doors to a lot of other things. Okay, anyway, has anybody here ever played in 7/8? Or maybe 5/8 to 4/4 to 5/8 to 4/4? It's a weird sense of feeling. It's abstract. You know, I saw a video today. I don't know, somebody, you know, these guys, they don't know what, I'm not bashing nobody. Oh, man. I'm not going to vent. I'm just going to say it the way it is. They run out of things to teach. So they got to develop something abstract that everybody says, wow, he can play that, man. This guy's great. And, you know, and take lessons from him because they think he's great. But whenever did you ever use 5/8? Whenever did you use 11/16? Have you used 7/8, Stacy? Okay, let's see. You know, Robert, man, forget Rush's Tom Sawyer, man. You know, that's, you know, that's cool. You know, same thing with Brubeck. You know, 5/4, 7/8, 9/8, all that good stuff. But I'm saying, have you ever gone out on a gig and you had to play something in 7/8? Now that's a different culture. You know, like the Eastern, Southeast, the Asian culture, you know, that kind of thing. Music comes, the Indian culture, 11/16, the tabla, 9/16, and all that good stuff. All right, it's weird. All right, well, you know, 7/8. Okay. You know, let's just play by the rules here. Did I lose something? All right. Now this is difficult, and I want to go over it. If I'm playing 7/8, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was one measure of 7/8. Now, if I'm going to go from 7/8, or say 5/8, let's do 5/8, it's shorter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Two measures of 5/8. Now, if I said, okay, guys, let's get cuckoo. Let's play one measure of 5/8 and go into a measure of 4/4 and back to 5/8, then to 4/4 again. Here's my pulse. This is what's tricky. If you set the metronome, for example, on the quarter note pulse of, I don't know, whatever you want, 70, 80, 100, and the metronome's going tick, tick, tick. That tells me that's my quarter note pulse. That's the pulse, okay? Whether you're in New Jersey, Wisconsin, California, Canada, Iran, Iraq, or whatever, the metronome rule is the same. You turn it on, 80, it's 80 beats per minute, that equals a quarter note. So if I'm going to play quarter note time, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to play 5/8 in there, what am I going to do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. See, it's going around twice, and it comes back to the downbeat. I didn't change the quarter note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. Yeah, 4, and 1, 5. You see that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. If I'm just playing 5/8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. But if you're going to make the transition from 7/8, I mean 5/8 to 4/4, there's not a problem, but it's just a weird sense of feel. Okay? Do you understand that? What is that? Who? John McLaughlin used 11/8 in the 80s? Is that what that is? Yeah, he did. He used a lot of different things. But you know, you don't go out to a nightclub and listen to John McLaughlin and you dance to that. He was performing his tunes, like the Dance of the Maya. Billy Cobham was on that. John Hammer and John McLaughlin. I forgot who the bass player was. But did you hear Billy Cobham play on that? Believe it or not, it sounded like he had a humongous set of fives, but he didn't. If you ever have the inner mounting flame and you happen to listen to the Dance of the Maya, that's in 9/8. There's no switching off to 4/4, 2/4, whatever. And I would say John McLaughlin was so much ahead of his time. I loved him, man. He played some nice things going on. And his drummer, you couldn't beat him, in my opinion, for that music. Billy Cobham has some shit going on, man. He still does, but I mean, to me, he was premier on that album. Does anybody here remember that? Bob, Paul, and Mr. Monte. You remember John McLaughlin, Inner Mounting Flame? I tried to play that shit, man. I said, holy God. And especially the Inner Mounting Flame, every time I would play it, I'd always come out wrong. And that's when I was real young. I said, man, forget this shit. I'm going to go to the Nard book. But no, man, he put it to me he didn't put it to me, but it was, to me, a challenge to get it. And somewhere in the studio, I have a transcription of the drum part. One time I stayed up for 2 days listening to that song. You remember? Okay. Very good. We got some old timers in here. Now, you're not an old dog, man. I'm the oldest dog in here, so don't, blow it on me. I am 73. You don't know what, Paul? John McLaughlin, the Inner Mounting Flame? It's on YouTube. The Inner Mounting Flame. And another group, I never forget this, Passaic, New Jersey. This is when John McLaughlin, his group, the John McLaughlin group, was playing at this theater. I forgot the name of the theater, Passaic Theater or something, I don't know. And it was a concert. And to open up, he had a group called the Mark Allman Band. Do we ever remember that song? I mean, group? Mark Allman. Do we remember that group, the Mark Allman? Well, really, yeah, well, you're going to be amazed. I mean, the guy was so much ahead of his time, man. You know, there's so many great musicians out there, so many great drummers and guitar players and bass players who do not receive the recognition, and I will tell you why. Because the public is jive. They don't, I'm going to say it, the public is jive because they don't go for somebody who's an artist. They go for somebody like, and I'm not bashing Ringo or Charlie Watts. But, you know, these guys are drummers in their own rights, and they made $1 zillion. And they were the perfect drummer for the Beatles, the perfect drummer for the Rolling Stones. But just the Mark Allman Band, what was his name? Oh, damn. I'll think of his name in a second. But the drummer that I saw that night was sitting in for the regular drummer. And, no, Danny Richmond was his name. He was the drummer for Charlie Mingus. And here he is playing a rock gig. Now, he did a tune, and I love this tune because it really inspired me. You know, I'm partial because, you know, things that inspire me and things that inspire you, you know, you love. And he did this one tune called Riding Free. Yeah, Robert, Four-Way Coordinations by Marvin Dahlgren and Elliot Fine. And Marvin Dahlgren is still living. Elliot Fine said goodnight about 2 or 3 years ago. Okay, but the Mark Allman Band, he played, it was an ostinato drum solo. One of my students gave me the album for my birthday, and a long time ago, and I was hooked. You know, the interaction with the bass player and the drummer. That's what I might do one day, is you go listen to the tune and hear me play it with a bass player, okay? And it's an ostinato pattern. It goes boom, ba-boom, ba-boom, boom, 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 ba-boom, ba-boom, boom, 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 boom. The bass player's playing that, and Danny Richmond is playing on top of that and all around it, inside, outside, sideways, attacking from the top, attacking from the bottom, played his ass off. And ever since then, I've been a Danny Richmond fan. He's dead as well. All these musicians are fine artists, and they get hung up and all that bullshit on the drugs, and that's not a good thing because you don't need them. You know who took lessons from Elliot Fine and was good friends with Elliot Fine? You guys might know him on Facebook, and I mentioned him a couple of times. Dave Stanek from Minnesota. He was at McNally School of Music, College of Music, for like 25 years. They closed down. But he studied with Elliot Fine for a long period of time. Now, it's just the concept and how they approach things is what I really love. Four-way coordination. Remember this exercise? And I'm going to show you what four-way coordination inspired me to do. There was, you can refer to this as linear or harmonic or cross harmonic. You remember this? And it's from the stick control book, okay? You take the stick control book. This is good for Stacy. Try to remember this, because this is something I know you didn't have. And you too, Mr. Old Hat. Okay? Old dog. That's it. You take the stick control book, and the first measure, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and no problem. So now you make something out of it. And you say, every time I come to one and 3 and, I'm going to make it the top. By the top, I mean I'm going to play my right hand over here and my left hand here. So if I just played the right hand and left hand on 1 and 3 and, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Simple pattern. I'm not playing 2 and I'm not playing 4 and. So now I'm going to give my bottom a place to do. So I'm going to say, okay, 2 and 4 and is up to you guys. All right, so now, remember, every time you come to a right, it's going to be the bass drum. Every time you come to the left, it's going to be the hi-hat. The top, every time I have a right, it's my ride cymbal, and my left is the snare. So if I took line 1, it'd be 1 and 2 and 3, 4-way coordination. All mathematics. Some really work very, very well. If I did line 2, it would be the reverse. Okay? I'd have 1 and 2 and. Another 4-way coordination. Or linear. All right, line number 5. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. See that? All from a stick control book and an inspiration for 4-way coordination. And that's the simple exercise. And I got into his harmonic and cross harmonic exercises. And I wrote it the stick control book because it's all there. And by harmonic, I mean every time I play my right, my bass drum's going to hit. Every time I play my left, my hi-hat's going to hit. So if I did line 1 with that concept, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, it's not a polka. It sounds like it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and ba-do-be-da-ba. 1 and 2. If I did line 2, it would be reversed. Now it gets funky. Line 3. Line 4. Now line 5, you're in Funkville. You exchange voices. You see where it all comes from, gentlemen? It's all relevant. It all comes together. It is all from the stick control book. It's all mathematical. That's the mechanics of music. That's the mechanics of drumming. Now, feel, you can't teach nobody that. All right? You could explain to them how you feel, but that's not necessarily how you're going to feel or interpret a tune. But you have the mechanics to interpret it the way you feel through studying and doing exercises like that. Boy, I feel like a philosopher tonight. Mercy, Lord be. It's probably because of lack of well, that's a book you need to take your time with. You're taking notes. No note taking. You understand that, Randy? Good for you. Jim, Old Dog, Mr. Mante, Dennis, you're so quiet, Dennis. Speak up. I mean, it's a good exercise. Now, the cross harmonic, we did a 4-way coordination or linear, and we did the harmonic, which means every time I right, my bass drum, every time my left. I mean, I can mix the harmonics up, but that's the basics. All right, cross harmonic means this. If I'm going to play my right hand instead of my bass drum now, I'm going to use my left foot. And when I play my snare drum, I'm going to use the bass drum. So if I did line 1, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. A whole different thing, man, stick control book, right? Line 3. Very interesting sounds. I'm doing that wrong, I'm sorry. Ay, ay, ay. Line 5. I have 1 and 2 and. Wait a minute, get this here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's been a while since I did that. There's so much to do. Give me a few minutes, I'll be right back to it. But anyway, you see where you're going with all this stuff? I mean, I could teach you the parts of a tune and how I interpret a tune and how I feel it. But I can feel it differently every time I play it. So how can you, like I said, teach somebody how to feel something? You do these mechanics, you do this math, you do these exercises, and you hear a tune. Naturally, even if you didn't play an instrument and you're listening to something, you're tapping your foot. There you go. You're on your way. You see? It's a natural thing. And that's what I teach is a natural approach. I don't say, these are 5 grooves every drummer should know. And here's something in 5/16 and 9/16. For what? To show I could do it to everybody else and make you guys feel bad? And say, oh, that's supposed to be a motivational thing so you could practice more? That's bullshit. You don't want to practice? Don't practice. You want to practice? You become better. Just simple an analogy. You're following me, you get arrested for that. That's called, what is that called? Gee, I'm lost to words tonight. All right, good for you, Jim. You're stalking me, Hoist. I'm just kidding, man. Anyway, like I said, tonight's the last night on the drum set for this week. Tomorrow, the 2 lessons are going to be on the drum pad. Okay? And we'll continue maybe with rolling in rhythm and a few other different rudiments. All right? It's nice to have money, Jim. Stalking, Robert. I got it. I'm just kidding, everybody. I'm just in a goofy mood. Odd time signatures, having fun, soloing. There's no right or wrong. It's a matter of, like I said the other night, how you could execute easier than if you're playing like this or trying. It makes no sense whatsoever. Who could tell me what time signature I'm playing in now? Name that time signature. Doubles? What about doubles? You want to work on doubles? Okay, you want me to introduce you how I interpret doubles? Anybody know what time signature that was? Yeah, you have fun. But I take my work seriously. You know, I see somebody bashing somebody else. The only person you should be bashing is yourself. How are you going to get better tomorrow? How are you going to grow? Dennis 3/4, nope. All right, I'll play some of that again and I'll count it. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. 1 and 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did you hear it? 5/4. How about not? Why not tonight? Just introduce it. Robert, nobody got it. It was 5. All right, 3/4, 3/4, 6/4 times 5 is how many quarter notes? 3 quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, times 5 is what? I mean, no, not 5. Let me explain this. All right, yeah. 5, yeah. 3, 4 counted 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3. How many quarter notes did I just play or count? How many did I count? That's absolutely correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 is 6. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 is, wait, no, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5 times is 15 quarter notes, correct? 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3. That's 5 measures of quarter notes, three quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Got it? 15 quarter notes, 3, 4 times, what did I say, 5. Now, if I take 5, 4, 3 times, I have 15 notes, or 15 quarter notes. And there's an intersection point where 5, 4 goes away, 3, 4 goes its own way, and then sooner or later, they intersect again. That's what it's about. 15. Good. You can count. We can count. Unga bunga. You remember that LP. What LP is that, Randy? Castilian drums, maybe? 4 more drums? That's not what I was playing, but I was thinking in 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 and 2, 1, 3, 4, 5. What's the name? Mission Impossible. Remember that? He did another one. Bum, 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 bum. That's in 5/4 as well. Okay, doubles. Let me briefly go over that, and we'll go into it in depth tomorrow. Now, like I said, man, my hands are really down. Doubles. What's a double? It's a duple. A stroke. A lot of people go, that's how they get their rebound. I don't do that. When I first learned doubles, it was in the drum course, so I play a lot with my arms when I do doubles. There's such a, so many hours. But everybody says, yeah, your right hand and your left hand have to be equal. And yeah, they are. They should be equal. However, when you're doing a stroke and rebound, that stroke is a little heavier, the first one, than the second one. It's so slight you can't notice it. So when I do doubles, and it's in the stick control book, do it in the stick control book. I go stroke. Some people start on the E. 1 E and 2. We'll get into it in depth tomorrow at the 1 o'clock lesson and the 7 o'clock lesson. Man, it's almost 8 o'clock. I got to get overtime wages here. Robert, yes. The Greg Allman Band, what about him? That's the Greg Allman Band. What was that song in 3/8? I forgot the name of that tune. If I hear it, I'll tell you what it was. I forgot the name of it, but I think I know which one you're talking about. That's not the band I was talking about. That was with John McLaughlin. It's a different. It's the Allman Band, the Mark Allman, not the Allman Brothers. Greg Allman. What about him? Oh, yeah, that's right. I wish I was a divorce lawyer there. He must have walked away with millions. Huh. Anyway, any questions, Stacy, Dennis, Mr. Mante, Randy? Old Dog, Robert, Jim, Dennis. Any questions? How many of you guys are familiar with Latin? The Mark Walker guy, when he comes, man, he's going to enlighten everybody. Let me see if I remember this. That's a little sloppy. Yeah, it don't matter. All right. I don't know if I want to get into that. It's not something I really know too much about. The clave. Oh, right. Which clave are you familiar with? We could talk about that. Jim loves Latin tunes. None for now. Okay. I have played Latin. Okay, me too. T for two. Ba-da-ba-do-bop. Stop and do beep ba boo doo, the girl from Ipanema. That's commercialized Latin. Okay, so the clave. I want to give you an explanation, and who did a fantastic job with this definition was a friend of mine and Alan Herman's student for many years, Billy Martin. And he did a publication, The Clave. Okay? What is a clave? What's the definition of clave? Clave is the musical key. Now, when somebody says the son clave, that means that's the only clave. The son clave 3-2, the son clave 2-3, or rumba clave. Oh, man, I wish he was here. He died. Too bad, man. I love that guy. Anyway, clave means the key element for time. So what is an ostinato? What is a clave? If I'm playing, say, for example, the clave field, 3-2, 1, and if I'm going over and over that, is that not, okay? If I'm going over that, I'm playing off of that pattern, isn't that also an ostinato? And yes, Randy, it's very, very dry. It's not taped whatsoever. That is from Paiste. That's the driest cymbal they have. What does it say? Paiste. I can't even say it. It's a dry ride, extra dry. There's no tape on it at all. It's nice and dry. I like that, man. I was using, before this, I have all kinds of cymbals, and I tried the, what's his name? J.R. Robinson ride cymbal, the 22-inch cymbal. And it was just too much ring overtone. I like this, man. It's just what I do. And you know who follows those dry routes is Istanbul. And with it being that dry, you get a lot of stick definition. Okay, guys, it's time for Uncle Matt to say adios until tomorrow, 1 p.m. Okay, any questions? No questions for now. You love Latin, no experience playing it. You know what really used to kill me? Going in a cover tune band to make a living. And they wanted to have rehearsal with the drummer 2 nights a week. And you're playing 6 nights a week. And I got aggravated with that one day. I was with a guitar player and a bass player. And we're trying a song. And they stopped. You're welcome, Stacy. What about not the girl from Ipanema? What's that mean? Bump, ba-da-do-ba. It's a bossa nova. That's what they put. You can play it any way you want. You know what? This guy Mark Walker, he amazes me. He was playing with this big band, Latin big band, and that's his forte, man. And there's a tune by John Coltrane called "A Moment's Notice." That tune is not a structured tune as a normal tune like A B A. It's A A. The bridge is not 8 measures; it's 12 measures. Where that come from, I don't know. Maybe he forgot he left off at the last 8, so he added another 4 on there. It's a difficult song to stay in tune to. And when I play it, ba da bop, ba doo boop dee dow, ja da bop, ba doo boop dee ba boo dee da rap, ba da bop, so on and so forth. That tune is a difficult tune, and I heard him play with the big band. Okay, and he did it with a samba. Mercy, Lord be, did he flip me out? Anyway, guys, have a good night. I'll be here tomorrow, 1 p.m., drum pad time. Okay? Let me stop my broadcast, and we'll say good night. Have a good night, please, everybody. Come on, Pooter.